In this video, I will tell you about the polar and ortho mode of AutoCAD. So on the status bar, you'll see here this ortho mode, and you can turn this ortho mode on by pressing the F8 key on the keyboard. So let's click on this ortho mode, and when you click on this ortho mode, you'll notice that the polar tracking will automatically turn off. So for now, we'll just keep this ortho mode on, and now let's go to the line tool and click at a point to start the line, and we have a completely horizontal line here. Now even if I move my cursor way beyond that horizontal line, it still remains horizontal. Even if I move it to this direction, it will remain horizontal. Now if I move it close to this point, it will become vertical. So as long as ortho mode is on, the lines will always remain either horizontal or vertical. But you can obviously snap to any existing point. For example, if you move your cursor close to this point, the end point, it will snap to that point. But as long as there is an absence of snap point, it will always make your geometry in either horizontal or vertical direction. So using this ortho mode, you can make these geometries quite easily. Now let's erase it, and let's now turn on this polar tracking option. So you can obviously use F10 function key to turn it on, and as soon as you turn it on, the ortho mode will be off. Now using this polar tracking, you can create your geometries in any direction. So here also I've started the line, and I can create it in horizontal direction, and also I can create it in any direction. But there is a slight advantage in this case. In this case, when you move your cursor to the 0° angle, you'll see this tracking vector. Now this will help you in creating a completely horizontal line, because in the absence of this tracking vector, you won't be able to, or at least it will be very difficult for you to make a completely horizontal or vertical line. So let's now turn it off. And now let's try to make a completely horizontal line, and now you won't be able to make a completely horizontal line, or even if you will be able to make it, it will take some time. So this polar tracking will help you in making lines inclined to particular angles, not only in horizontal and vertical direction. So now let's turn it on, and now here we again have the tracking vector. So in this case, you can see that the tracking vector is only in this horizontal or in this vertical direction. Even if you move to any direction, we have it after the interval of 90 degrees, but you can change that. So let's say that we want this tracking vector to appear after an interval of 30 degrees. So for that, click on this small arrow right beside this polar tracking and change it to 30. And here we have this 60, 90, 120, 150 and so on. So let's click here. And now we have the first angle at 0, then the second tracking vector at 30, then at 60, 90, and so on. So after every 30 degrees, we have this tracking vector, and that will make the drawing workflow very easy, and you will be able to directly snap to those angles easily using this polar tracking tool. So when you go to this polar tracking, you'll see that you'll have lots of other options also. For example, the 45-degree multiples, the multiples of 23 and 18, 15, 10 and 5. So these are more than sufficient for your requirement. But if you want to add any custom angle, for example, let's say that we want to add an angle of 17.5 degrees. So that also you can do. So for that, click on this tracking settings. And now here, click on this additional angles, click on new and add the additional angle. So we need to add 17.5. Now press enter. And our new angle is added. So let's now click on OK, and now click on this arrow again, and you'll see that here we have this 18, 36, 54 and 72 angle. Although currently you won't be able to see the exact 17.5 degrees because precision of angle is set to 0, and we need to change that precision value in order to see the decimal points. So I'll just change that value. So for that, I'll press escape key and I'll type UN for units. And we have already seen this drawing units window. From here you can see that the precision for angle is set to 0. Let's change it to 2 decimal places. Click on OK. Now let's look at the angle value, and here we have the 17.5, 35 and its next multiples. So once again, I'll go to this line tool, click on any point, and from here I'll make sure that this option is selected. And now after every 17.5 degrees, we have this tracking vector. So let's make a line to an angle of 52.5 degrees and press enter. Now if you want to remove that value, you can again go to this tracking settings, and from here select the value, click on delete, and now click on OK. So in this way you can use ortho mode and also the polar tracking to make your drawings according to your requirement. I prefer to keep this polar tracking on, and I only keep ortho mode on in specific cases. So once again I'll remove these geometries, and that was all about the ortho mode and polar tracking status bar options of AutoCAD.